we start speaking about the person that wants to crush quick cookies on biscuits because he wants to add it to ice cream on Shabbat. Now we said there is a question of tohen, there is a question of kneading, lash. And we said that there is no tohen after tohen. Since the cookies are made out of wheat, and the wheat was already crushed once, in order to make the cookies, they had to crush it to make flour. From the flour, you're going to make a dough. From the dough, you're going to make cookies. So since the flour was already crushed, the wheat was already crushed, there is no crushing, no tohen after crushing, aha tohen. So therefore, a person is allowed on Shabbat to take the cookies and give them, and give them and crush them. And after you crush them, you're allowed to mix it inside the ice cream, because there is no kneading in this problem, because the pieces are still going to be visible. Now, continuing with this leniency, it says, there's another thing that is very practical. It says, you know, right now it's summer. During the summer, especially in New York, in places that is humid, what happens is the salt becomes clustering. It becomes like one, right? All the pieces of the salt becomes together. When you shake the salt shaker, it's a rock. It doesn't go through the salt shaker. So now, what a person wants to do, he wants to open the salt shaker, take a spoon or something like that, go inside the salt shaker, and bang it. Say, listen to me next time. You hear me? Make sure he wants to make sure to crush it now. Listen, you crushing Shabbat. Tohen. What happened to Tohen? Says Avalia, this salt was already crushed once already by the factory. Now, because of the unit, it became again, it stuck together again. The fact that I'm crushing it now, I'm doing second crushing. There is no second crushing applies on Shabbat. No tohen after tohen. Because it's already crushed once, there is no problem. I suggest to crush it again on Shabbat. You're allowed to take the salt because it was already crushed once. But, what? Grind, yeah, that's the word, thank you. No grinding after grinding. Even they're going to make it very smooth. Well, now, what if a person, he has a salt that he got from Yam HaMelach? You know, this is the real crystal of the salt, the rock. He says, Rabbi, I heard this salt is very healthy to eat, but I didn't crush it before Shabbat. I remember last time, I took the spoon and I gave I heat the salt and I said, I grinded it, I tohen. So can I do the same thing now? What's the halacha now, says Yosef? No, it's not allowed. Why? This salt that you grind from Yam HaMelach, this chunk of salt, was never crushed before, was never ground before. Now you're grinding it for the first time. First time grinding on Shabbat, that's not allowed. Only was because it was already ground once. Why is it important to know? Because after the lecture I gave in the morning, somebody came and said, Rabbi, if so, I can take a crusher of the pepper. You know, there are some people like the fresh crusher. The taste, it's fresh, it's tastier. So he said, I'll crush with this. So why should you crush with this? And so because I can eat the pepper. People eat the pepper. I said, listen, you can take a pepper, black pepper, like this, put it in your mouth without crushing it? No, I have to crush it. So what if a person is crushing with this crusher on Shabbat? It's 100% tohen. It's 100% violation. So therefore, a person cannot use a special crusher for the pepper or the katori zili. Pepper na rusko kako tkimo? Перец, красный перец, черный перец, шаббат, с этой машинки вот это делать, нельзя в шаббат делать. Why? Because you are crushing it for the first time on Shabbat. That's what to do this. There is no crushing after crushing second time, but there is a crushing applies on the first time. Now, continuing Gavali says the same thing applies to, and that's a leniency, it's a chidush. It says, what if a person has tobacco? You know, in Eretz Israel, it's a rule. Every shul has a tobacco box. Everybody take a little bit. I remember as a child, I used to sneeze. Every time you used to say, take it, this is good, this is healthy, this is... I sneeze and sneeze. Now that they gave you the tobacco, you want to take, the tobacco became a rock, it became all together. You cannot take the powder, it's not there anymore. Can you take something and crush it right now on Shabbat or no?
Yeah.
Allowed or no?
If before crushing.
Listen. Salt, you eat. Cookies, you eat. This is food. Now this one you smell.
Enjoy.
The tobacco you put in your mouth, do you smell? You eat tobacco?
No.
Huh?
No.
So maybe the rules should change over here. You don't eat the tobacco. This tobacco is smelling. Do we say that leniency of no crushing, no tohen after tohen, even to something that you smell? Huh? Says the Ran, Rabbeinu Nisim. He says that since something you smell, it has the halachic status of something you eat. So he says a big chidush. He says, something that you don't eat, you're not allowed to make it smell good. I'll give you an example. Let's say right now a person has clothes, his jacket. He wants to take on Shabbat colognes, to find favor in the... Wants to put cologne on Shabbat. Is he allowed to put cologne on the clothes on Shabbat or no?
No, before Shabbat.
But what if a person wants to take something that smells good to put inside his food? He wants the food to smell.
Yes, why not?
Yeah?
Yes.
Is he allowed or no? Allowed.
Yes.
Why? There is no molid recha be'ochalim. No problem of making a food smell good. No problem. Says the Ran, what if a person wants to take the tobacco and put in the tobacco flavor of mint? He wants to put essential oil, something like that, to give it a boost. The smell that was over there, it's already habibi yavesh. He wants to make it right now fresh. What he wants to do? He wants to take essential oil, 1, 2, ahad, v'shtayim, ahad, v'shalosh, put inside the tobacco. What did we say the tobacco has the status of? The tobacco I'm talking about, the one that is crushed in that circle bag.
Liquid.
No, it's a dry tobacco. He has to grind it, and he has to add on top of it this essential oil. Allowed to do this on Shabbat or no? Says Rabbi allowed. So why? Because what did we just define? Tobacco is like food. And in food, can I put something to make it smell better or no?
Yeah.
Wow. It's not considered to be like a jacket. It's considered to be something that a person consumes. He's not consuming it through his mouth, it's consuming it through his nose. But he's still consuming it. He's consuming the smell of it. So therefore, says Avadia, a person is allowed to crush the tobacco because it was already crushed once already, before Shabbat. There is no crushing grinding after grinding. No tohen after tohen. And about putting the smell on top of that, put essential oil, something like that to make it smell better, it's not considered to be as a regular object. It's considered to be something that people consume. And something that people consume, you have no problem to make it smell better. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashah.